Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and we got a couple new things to talk about because we got a new patch for The Sims 4 on both PC and consoles, and there's also the Create a Sim Spotlight for Enchanted by Nature that was teased on the roadmap that is now released. So without further ado, let's get right into it, starting with the patch. The Sims Direct tweets, today's update includes a handful of fixes across all platforms, including bringing consoles up to date with the latest update and addressing the disappearance of small business employees and businesses and hobbies. See more in the patch notes. But there is more. Thank you for your patience while we investigated the rain indoors issue. We're happy to share that we've identified a fix that would address this in the next update, and we'll confirm via the upcoming laundry list. Oh my god! What? Alright, I mean, at this point, we've gone quite a while with this bug, so I wasn't expecting it to be fixed anytime soon, but they're fixing it at least before they release the expansion pack that revolves the outdoors and nature. So there is that, though, since this patch would be coming out right before an expansion pack, it is almost certainly going to break something else that we're going to be complaining about for months on end, and the cycle will begin anew because that's just what happens nowadays. Anyways, let's get into the patch notes. So we do have the full update from May 27th now available on consoles, like the Sulani fishing spots being fixed finally. And then for the new bug fixes with base game / multi-pack, resolved an issue where Sims models could become distorted when traveling shortly after aging up. The Sim portraits are now properly updated with career outfits when Sims join a career. Businesses and hobbies, small business employees no longer disappear after loading the lot from the Manage Worlds or Create a Sim screens. Yeah, I definitely saw people talking about that one. Then with seasons, these were the two bugs that I talked about in a pretty recent video, where the New Year's resolution menu was not appearing, and with the Scout Badge Progress UI, it wasn't having the text on it anymore. So they fixed both of those things, thank goodness, because I thought those were gonna be bugs that we'd have to deal with for months on end. But that's great, we don't need those mods from Kuto anymore, as long as they are actually fixed, because sometimes the patch notes claim something is fixed and then it's not. But that is it. So unfortunately, once again, pretty short patch notes, though at least this time, I don't feel like they're super minor issues that maybe only a few people ran into by going really out of their way. Like, no, they're pretty decent fixes. And now we know that the rain and snow indoors fix should be happening with the July 1st update. Still, nothing for sure as to whether the save corruption will be fixed, but I think they might have to just do a rework of the whole engine somehow, because like from what's being researched about this issue, it's like there's some kind of internal limit that's not very explicit about the number of lots that the game can handle. And it's not just because of for rent, though it makes the issue way easier to run into, because like if you say have a 5-unit residential rental, then it's basically 5 lots on one space, not just one. So that, and having very, very heavily decorated lots with tons of objects also seems to make it easier to run into save corruption. So I wonder if they'd even be able to fix it without raising the system requirements. Maybe that'll eventually happen anyways. I mean, the max system requirements were raised recently, but I don't think that really had anything to do with trying to fix save corruption. But if they're going to keep The Sims 4 going on for so much longer, then I think eventually they are going to redo some of the graphics, whether it be updating the textures or upgrading the lighting, things like that, just to give the game a fresher look and make things not look as outdated, because some things, when you even get somewhat close up, it's like, oh wow, that looks really blurry. Now let's move on to the Create a Sim Spotlight for Enchanted by Nature. We'll definitely have to pause and look at some things, but yep, there's just a general overview of what we're getting, even some costumes for the kids that give them fairy wings, so I don't know if kids can become real fairies or not, But there's also a little showcase of the new traits. And there goes select occult fairy. We can do this in Create a Sim. And now we got wings with a lot of designs. Whoa, so many. They look pretty cool actually. And we can paint on them, which is awesome. And looks like fairies will be pretty fun to customize. Still not sure whether the pack as a whole will be any good, but I think the one area that they are going to meet my expectations is the fairy customization, which was my favorite thing about The Sims 3's fairies. Overall, I think the more fairy-specific clothing is what really shines here. Some of the more, I guess you could say, regular everyday clothing is just kind of, it's fine, I guess, but it's definitely more so the fairy stuff that is really going to be cool. One odd thing I noticed is that with the disruptive trait icon, look at the tongue. There's a piercing. We don't have tongue piercings in The Sims 4 right now. So is that something we're also getting in this pack, or perhaps the base game update alongside it? It just seems so random. There was no need to draw a tongue piercing. If there was no piercing there, it would have made no difference to communicating what the disruptive trait is. Now let's take a look at this fairy here in the brown outfit. We have the deer antlers, that's cool. But look at the legs and the feet. They seem to be like deer hooves. And this other fairy that kind of reminds me of Darth Maul a little bit also has them. We can see the fairy in the brown outfit again as this little trailer ends. So that's interesting. Not something I was expecting. So I guess we can make deer-inspired fairies. There's probably some eloquent term for it that I'm not aware of, but hey, that's interesting too. So another just kind of interesting aspect for fairy customization. With the brief live mode snippet at the end, it looks like the fairy on the left, they're either doing some kind of like power up animation, or maybe they're even doing an area of effect ability on the plants that are nearby. And then we have the deer-inspired fairy just kind of working on one plant there, probably just making it healthier. As for the two Sims in the middle, I think that fairy could be Mother Nature. And that interaction, I'm not sure if that's giving the guy fairy powers, but even through the blurred shot at the end, I think we'd still be able to tell that he grew wings, but he doesn't. So it seems like it's something else entirely. It could be a boost to the playful emotion because the color of the aura reminds me of the playful emotion that we see in the UI. But then at the beginning, it looks like she also gave him some kind of mood boost. I'll do a more detailed review of the Create a Sim items once I get my hands on this pack, but I did want to point out this Sim with the back tattoos. So you have the Freezer Bunny fairy winking. That's really cute. I love seeing the Freezer Bunny just appear in different things. And then we have this frog fairy that's like peeking out of their pants. So yeah, that's a cute little design too. Bringing up the roadmap for Enchanted by Nature that they showed us last week. Now we have the Create a Sim Spotlight. The gameplay trailer is on Thursday, June 26th. I don't know why they left the date of that out of this one. So because of that, we may already get the build by Spotlight this Thursday or Friday, or it could be next Tuesday. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video. So feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on today's patch, as well as your thoughts on Enchanted by Nature. And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.